Tomorrow's referendum vote in Quebec will decide if Canada will be broken into and a new French-speaking country created. The vote is too close to call this morning, which has surprised many Canadians. Joining us now to discuss the Quebec vote, Canada's former Minister of International Affairs, Jean Chrétien, and the Vice President of Parti Québécois, Monique Simard. Welcome to you both, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Hello.
Thank you.
Ms. Simard, let me begin with you. Why is it so important for Quebec to break away and become an independent state?
Okay, I think it's important for people that have not been following Quebec politics that this is the conclusion of a process that started about 35 years ago, but more intensively in the last 5 years. Quebec wants a special status, wanted a special status within the Canadian Federation, but all attempts to amend the Constitution failed. So in order to secure its existence and its future in the next century, we feel now a majority of Quebecers, I expect tomorrow, will approve that we need political sovereignty to secure our existence in the next century, and especially also to reshape a new partnership with Canada, both being sovereign countries, but will treat from equal to equal. And yes, we don't want to cut all ties with Canada. We want to have a partnership, an economic partnership and a political partnership. But within the Canadian Federation right now, we've tried, and we feel it's impossible to achieve that.
Okay, just briefly, the Prime Minister says he's willing to meet your aspirations and make changes in the Constitution. Why isn't that enough?
Well, you saw Mr. Chrétien promised that at one point, and each time, you know, the promises were not kept, especially Jean Chrétien here, who has no credibility on that aspect.
Okay, let me break in just very quickly here and ask Mr. Chrétien. The Federalists obviously want to keep the country unified. It's very important. You're fighting very hard. There are rallies in the streets all the way up to the vote. Why is it so important to keep Canada together as one?
Canada has become a symbol for the entire world. Quebec is a French-speaking province. It has thrived its language and its culture. Economically, we have tremendous advantages. If we break up, we cannot have the same advantages. We're part of NAFTA. I was offended when the Vice Premier of Quebec, Mr. Bernard Landry, sent a threatening letter to the Secretary of State, Mr. Warren Christopher, about when Mr. Christopher indicated that we'd have to renegotiate NAFTA. So from an economic, a political, and even a social point of view, it does not make sense to break up Canada. You don't break up a country because some constitutional changes weren't made.
How much would it hurt your country and ours economically? You talk about NAFTA. That has not yet been decided, as I understand it, that Quebec would have to then try to get back into NAFTA. Is that right?
The American authorities have indicated that there is no automatic accession to NAFTA. We have a $17 billion surplus with the United States under the existing terms. We have quotas that are Canadian quotas in textile and clothing, which we won't be able to use. There are provisions in NAFTA which exclude certain public contracts from international competition. The minute we become an independent country, all of these advantages will go.
Okay.
And Mr. Christopher has said, look, it's going to take time to renegotiate, and you know the mood in Congress of how long it will take and the protectionist feeling in terms of a surplus from Quebec. So why should we break up this country? Why should we risk all of the advantages we have now?
Mrs. Simard, let me just break in and try and direct this just a bit. The Federalists say breaking up, as you just heard, would cause economic disaster in your country and possibly the loss of 92,000 jobs in Quebec. Why is it worth it?
Well, that is what is said. We don't believe that at all. I think we can survive economically very well in Quebec, in a sovereign Quebec. Also, on the question of NAFTA, I think it's important to say if Canada is today through NAFTA, it's because of Quebec. The big support to NAFTA from Quebec. Monsieur Jean Chrétien, the Prime Minister, was against NAFTA when it was discussed a few years back. And also, Quebec would still be the 8th largest economic partner of the United States. So if there is a move for free trade in the Americas, it would be quite incredible to exclude Quebec, who's just beside the United States and also is, of a very strong economy.
All right.
But I want to come back.
It's not a question of exclusion. It's a question of under what condition. And as a matter of fact, because of the ambiguous, misleading, and dishonest question that's being asked, 37% of those who are voting yes believe that Canadians will send, that Quebecers will send members to Ottawa, that we'll have a Canadian passport and Canadian citizenship. That's absolutely dishonest.
No, well, I'm
if in the
sorry to
United
say it's
States,
not
in
true.
Proposition 13, when you had a referendum, the question was clear. Why can't they ask a clear question? Does Quebec want to separate? They know that Quebecers would say no.
We're going to find out that very issue tomorrow. I wish we had more time to discuss it with you today. Ms. Simon,
Well,
Mr. Chacha, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be watching your vote closely tomorrow. Thank you.
You're welcome.